Welcome, everyone, to Cultivate. I am Shanae Arby, CSO of Align, and we host these monthly events for all of us. Honestly, we try to pick topics that are going to help not only our Align ambassadors and affiliates, but everyone in our community. And that's why tonight's Cultivate is going to be so very cool and important for all of us. We are going to be hearing from Beth, and she is Align's official photographer. So all of our product photos that you see on our website that are gorgeous, she has taken for us. I just sent her some more product today that she's going to be photographing for us. A few things about Beth. She has been taking photos for over 14 years. And she was born in Scotland, which I did not know till I was like, do you have any fun facts? And she was like, not born in the US, which is so cool. I absolutely love all of her photos, and we appreciate everything that she does for us at Align. I am going to go ahead and just turn it straight over to her and help keep an eye on comments and stuff. Beth, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. I am really excited to do this and talk to everybody. And I am going to do my very best to be able to read my notes and try to look at questions at the same time. But if I don't see a question, I promise I'll go back, or Shanae will tell me, and we'll try to, get it all seen and taken care of and all that good stuff. And I know that we're on a little bit of a delay, but that's totally fine too. So like Shanae said, I started a photography business in portraiture, so taking portraits of people after my oldest kiddo was born. She's almost 16 now. And I think that at that time frame, tons of people were all of a sudden really into photography, and DSLRs were popular and really, trendy and so forth. And I've always been interested in photography, but I really fell in love with it once I realized that I had, a person in my life that I wanted to capture in photography. And so that's when I really started diving into it and learning more and all that good stuff. And I kept that business going until COVID hit. And at that time, I took it as a sign that it was time for me to try something new. And I actually, after that, started working with my degree that I actually have in patisserie. So I started using my pastry chef degree. So that's what I do now. But I am so loving being the product photographer for Align with these ladies that I've known for years and absolutely adore and admire. And being part of it is really special to me. So I wanted to talk with you guys today about a few different things when it comes to photography. And I think that, like Shanae said, it's something that everybody can benefit from. We have photography that's just, you have your kiddos or your family or whoever it may be, and you want to take better pictures of them, which who doesn't, right? And then we're also going to talk a little bit about selfies, and that can just be selfies because you're feeling particularly hot that day. Or it can be selfies, to talk about products if you're somebody who sells something. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about how to take actual product photography, which is something that is so much simpler than you probably think. So when it comes to photography in general, there is one thing that I would say is the most important, and it is lighting. Whenever you're taking a picture, you have to have good lighting, right? I mean, that seems pretty obvious, but it's something that everybody should think about when they're doing any kind of pictures. So that's, backlighting when having the light source behind you, or, full in your face or side or whatever it may be. Lighting is really important. And that's going to be the same for any of these types of photography. Another thing that I really focus on is called the rule of thirds. And that's, generally speaking, for a most aesthetically pleasing photograph, you want to have the main subject in a third of the image. So usually if you have the main subject right in the middle with no other interesting little bits to the sides, it kind of looks out of place. And now there's definitely, a time and a place for a centered photograph. So don't feel like it's wrong. But generally speaking, I aim for having the thing that I am shooting in a third on the sides or a third in the bottom or the top. So you'll notice, like, if you're one of our Align ambassadors and you get access to the bajillions of photos I take of products, like if it's a vertical shot, a portrait shot, then usually the product is in the bottom third and it's got a lot of excess at the top, but it just is more aesthetically pleasing than it would be if the product was right there in the middle. So lighting and rule of thirds, generally speaking, are going to encompass any of the things we talk about tonight. So because we have so much going on right now with summertime, we really want to talk a little bit about summertime moments and how to capture them. When it comes to the summer, of course, what are we all dealing with? Most likely, yes, that is right, Shanae. We want a lighting that is facing our desk. My light is coming in from right here, which is directional lighting. And I really like directional lighting. I use it a lot on the product photography as well. Okay, so summertime, sorry, I get really distracted. I probably shouldn't even have the comments up because I'm starting to like, look, oh, hi, I know that name. Anywho, I'm in South Texas and it is 105 degrees outside right now. So we don't go outside a lot in the middle of the day because it is flipping hot. But benefits to that is that usually that means that we're outside when the light is prettier. So the first hour of the day when the sun rises and the last hour of the day is called the golden hours. That is when the sun is its most golden. It's beautiful. Everybody loves it, right? A sunrise or a sunset. And so those are great, great times to take pictures because the sun is softer. It's very directional. You can usually just backlight your subjects. So if you have your kids and they're actually cooperating and you want to take a picture of them, having the sun behind them and hitting them in the back of the head or maybe slightly on the side with that beautiful golden hour light is gorgeous, right? And it's perfect. That's such a good time to take pictures. But it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you're just in the pool or on a hike. If you're an outdoorsy person, again, 105 here, we're not taking hikes right now. But sometimes you're outside whenever it is hot outside and the sun is super high. So there's a few different things you can do. You can try to find some shade. I mean, that seems pretty obvious, right? You can try to find dappled shade even with the trees. So when it's, dappled and little bits and pieces of shade, if you're not trying to get an image of somebody's face and like really see all the details and you're just trying to get kind of a captured a moment kind of thing, then it's beautiful to have that dappled shade on them and you'll have little sparks of light hitting them. It's really pretty. You can also find full shade, on the side of a building or something, and it can look really photojournalistic, with like super strong shade and then like some light behind them or to the side. So, I mean, use what you can use. And if you can't find a good spot of shade, then just go with it, take the picture, capture the moment. Don't worry about it so much because all that really matters is you are taking the picture and you are capturing the moment, just embrace the heart and embrace the harsh light. You can also turn your subject towards the sun. So yes, that does mean you're making your child stare into the sun. But you know what? Sometimes they'll be okay. I usually have my kids do a 1, 2, 3. I set them up for a picture and then I tell them to close their eyes and I count 1, 2, 3. On 3, I snap the picture. I don't have squinty-eyed children, even though that is what it was in real life. The picture captures it at the exact perfect moment. Do they like that? Not particularly, but they know that they have to deal with it when it comes to me at this time. So, but shooting in the early morning and at night, usually best for lighting with the summer moments. And then of course, if you're doing like, the kids are jumping in the pool, who really cares, right? Just expose your picture for the brightest light. So if you're using your phone, you can just touch it to like set the exposure and grab the spot where it's the brightest light, touch it. And then, you may have some good shadows. You may have some good shadows in there, and that's okay, because then you'll still be able to see all the other details because you're exposing for the most light in your image. And then really, whenever it comes to shooting pictures like outside or someplace where it's like action, like kids are jumping in the pool or they're running through a field. I don't know, do people just do that? When we do here in Texas, go play in the creek, anything like that, zoom out and get like the full scene, fill up your camera with like the whole pool or a ton of the field or the creek or whatever it may be, and really get a lot of scenery in there. And then it doesn't matter because probably your subject isn't looking at you. If they are, then you can't tell that they're squinting. And that way you kind of like capture everything. So, excuse me. It's not just, hey, my kid's jumping in a pool and it's like this little close up of them in the pool. Like get the whole thing. And then you're really like remembering all the details of what was going on at that time. I really love adding to like a set of memories that way, because then I remember like what the flowers looked like, or how like tall and brown the field was at the time, or any of those things. So don't be afraid to make your subject a little tiny bit of the picture, because the whole memory is going to capture everything all at the same time. You can also zoom really close in, so if your kid is sitting outside and they're eating a popsicle and it's dripping down their hands, instead of like getting like the whole shot of your kid in their pajamas from 3 days ago with their crazy hair and they haven't showered and you don't even care, all those things, just zoom in on like the popsicle in their hand with it dripping down or something, and that's still a memory that you want to capture. I have these images in my kitchen of my kids when they were little, and they're zoomed in on them holding like a sippy cup, and they have cream cheese and waffles all over their hands. But I can always look at those pictures and I see their fat little chubby fingers, and I remember it because those are the details of who they were at that time. So, don't be afraid to zoom all the way out and zoom all the way in, and just get the little bits and pieces at the same time. Yes, you just touch the screen like on your iPhone. I don't know about Androids, I've never had one, but you touch the screen and it'll expose for that part of the picture. And really, iPhones are very self-sufficient. Like they try to do a lot of it for you. You can play with your iPhone and the settings on there, and you can really get super detailed. Like you can do like aperture and all that good stuff as well if you want to. I'm sure you can find tons of Google tutorials as far as like how to really work the camera on your iPhone, but you can also just use it as it is and it'll do a good job. And then you can always edit it afterwards. And under the editing, you can make the shadows darker or brighter. You can take down the highlights. So if you have like a spot that's super bright, take it down to bring back some of the detail. You can up and down the brightness and the exposure. You can also play with one that's called brilliance, and it just kind of brightens everything up and warms it without like making anything overexposed and super glary. So yes, the chickens. I wish we could have chickens here, but we can't. Okay. Paula, I am not sure. I'm betting though that the camera is pretty similar. I mean, they can't really do too many things on, the differences in the cameras. So I'm betting it's the same thing. If you like touch the screen on a part that you want to expose for, I bet it does do that for you. Okay, so another thing that I think people get nervous about whenever they're like doing like outdoors pictures or whatever, and of course, if you're doing something inside, this is so much easier. You just want to be next to a window if you can. The lights from your ceiling, not the best lights for photography. They're usually yellow, they're usually kind of harsh, and they usually don't do a great job of like, illuminating your subject. But if you get next to a window, you're good to go. When it comes to shooting outside, though, don't let low light scare you. So the hour after sunset, so at sunset and right afterwards, you have the golden hour. And then after that, once the sun is all the way down, you have something called blue hour. And it's really, really beautiful. It's dusk, and that's like when the fireflies start coming out, or lightning bugs, whatever you call them. That's when like the world kind of starts slowing down, and being able to capture memories at that time is really, really pretty, in my opinion, because you don't really worry about the fine details. You just kind of like, capture a picture of your kid like running through the backyard, or your dogs. I have 3 dogs that I adore, and take pictures of them, and you don't have to see all the details of them. And it's a little grainy, like when you look at like an old-timey picture and it looks grainy, it looks like kind of speckled. That's what grain is. And it's beautiful at that time. So don't be afraid to do those late night pictures. If you get lightning bugs where you are, then hey, that's even more fantastic. Shoot so that you can see the lightning bugs in that blue hour time. It's so pretty. Or if you have like lights on your patio, just that little bit of light, just so you can see kind of what's going on, is so, so nice. It makes me think of like being at my grandma's house, and they had this huge garden outside, and all the cousins would be there, and we'd be outside at night and running around, and that's what it makes me think of. So don't be afraid to shoot whenever it's dark out too, as long as you can kind of see something. You can also do like silhouettes at that time. It's really beautiful when the sun is setting, to get like just the silhouette of somebody, and that's when you expose for the setting sun behind you. So you would touch your phone, or set your DSLR to take a shot, opening up the aperture and letting in a little bit more light, so you can see all the yellows and oranges and pinks and whatever they may be of the sunset. And then your subject is just dark, but it's so pretty to see, especially like, if you take them every now and then to show your kids growing up, and you see their height changes or something like that. So it's also a really great one to take at night. That is not a dumb question, Stephanie. There are no dumb questions. Exposure is just kind of like how bright your picture is. So if you look at a picture and it seems so bright that there are parts of it that are like white and glowing, that's called overexposed. If you see parts that are super dark and lacking detail, that's called underexposed. So it's just making the exposure the best it can be. Kind of like whenever you are thinking about like film, and your exposures, that's what it's talking about. It's just talking about like the lighting in your picture. So, don't worry about it too much though. When it comes to the memories that you're capturing, just capture them and don't be afraid to put yourself in them too. So, prop the phone up and put it on a 3-second or a 10-second delay, get a picture. There are bajillions of like the selfie sticks you can get with the little, the little remote control. You can grab a tripod on Amazon for like $5 and get in there as well. So don't forget that part, because it's all really, really important. Some cameras and phones can go underwater, so you can do that, which is really cool. And I don't know why I haven't done that with my kids. You can even get like non-human subjects. So we have this really fat bumblebee that comes to the salvia around our pool, and we've named him Jeffrey. And he's one of those big, fat, fuzzy ones. And my kids love seeing what Jeffrey is up to for the day. So I need to make sure that I get some pictures of Jeffrey for this summer, so that I remember him and how the kids love to see him. Yes, good for selfies with product. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about that part too. And so my kids are almost 16 and 13, and I still do this because they still have all those little funny nuances that I don't want to forget. So, get the flowers, bees, butterflies, any of those things can really add to what you remember about your moments. And I know that everybody kind of knows this, but I think that those are some things that we forget whenever we're thinking about like, how can I capture this time? They're all really, really important. And any of those non-human subjects, you can take pictures of them anytime, because it doesn't matter if they're squinting or not, right? So I think that's all I had to say about the summertime moments. Sorry, I talk a lot and get really thirsty. So that's the most important things, I think, when it comes to capturing like what's going on right now in our lives. My kids start up with school stuff this week. Yes, my daughter is in marching band for high school. And so all of a sudden my summertime is like coming to an end, even though it's mid-July. And I'm remembering all these things that I wanted to capture for the summer. And Jeffrey the Bumblebee is one of them. So I have to make sure that I do it. And I hope that you guys do it as well. And yes, the non-humans, especially non-children, way more cooperative than the kids. But if I get them out there and they're swimming and they're having fun, and, I have like the close up of Jeffrey on his favorite flower, and then like my kids in the background, I'll just remember like how it's correlated. And I can already see that picture in my head, and it makes me so happy to think about, because it'll be something that I would have forgotten in a few years. And now I won't, because it's going to be there. Same as you being in the pictures, with the important people in your life. It doesn't matter if it's a dog, a cat, a turtle. We have hedgehogs. If it's a hedgehog, any of those things, just be in the pictures and capture the moments with you in there, so you're not always behind the camera. So kind of segueing into selfies, right? Yay, selfies. I am not a fan because I don't like being in front of the camera, but I make myself. So we're going to talk a little bit about selfies, just because you are feeling fine that day and you want to take that picture, and then selfies because you're somebody who is with a line or another company or whoever, and you have something that you want to show off. The most important thing is, whenever selfies, is a good light source. Hands down, without a question, no doubt in my mind, lighting. Yes, the kids and the growing up thing is kind of a pain. Like I said, mine, 16 and 13, but that's we do the best that we can, right? Even if you like jump in and take a picture real fast with them, like surprise, sneak attack. Okay, but selfies, a good light source is so important. For the love of Pete, if you are somebody who is taking a before and after, I used this product, I've been using this for a month, look how amazing it is. Please, same lighting, same facial expression, same background, same setup, same time of day, to the best of your ability. If you show a before and after, and in the after you are smiling, which improves your laugh lines, or you are not frowning, which improves your frown lines, or you have better lighting so that the little bags under your eyes are better. I mean, we all have them. There's nothing wrong with them, right? But if you do any of those things, then your before and after looks like dookie. Like, it looks fake, right? Like, because you're thinking, now I know that Sharon has been using this product, but Lordy, I also know that she has way more, crow's feet than that. It's okay if you don't look like a wax model in the after picture. Be yourself, be realistic, but use the same things. So whenever I worked for a company and would take before and after pictures, it was in my bathroom, direct light on, my closet light on, because it comes in from the side, so everything is illuminated, right in front of my closet door, so it was all white in the background, straight on, not at an angle or anything like that, unless you're like particularly showing some angled part of you. And same facial expression. Like, I would pull up the other picture and look at it and mimic exactly how it was for my after picture. I just promise you that you will get so many more people listening to what you have to say if those two pictures match up in every way. And then you can truly show what these incredible products have done for you. There is nothing faker than whenever, you see somebody who, like, the lighting is dim in the before, and so like you can see like all the circles under their eyes, and they're kind of frowning, and so forth. And then the second one, they just look so much happier, and the lighting is brighter. Like, yeah, you look better, but I could have taken that picture 10 seconds apart and had the same results. And I know that, at least with the line products, that they actually make that kind of a difference. And so you have to show it. So that's just, I guess, kind of my soapbox. As somebody who has watched so many people share like before and afters from different companies, it just, nothing drives me crazier than seeing one that doesn't accurately show, like, be honest with everybody. And of course, I doubt that anybody in here would be like that, but it's just a little reminder. So yes, the happy picture can be your third one. I think that's a fantastic idea. Like, damn, look at me. Look how fancy I look. Do that. But make the before and after one makes a huge difference. And I love that comment, Lynn. The colors they have on, yes. And yes, no filters, Jessie, for the love of Pete. But Jessie, our beautiful, fearless leader in here, recently did a color analysis to see like her best colors. And I know that it kind of shook her on which ones it turned out to be, but she can tell us, and she's told me all about how like the difference in the colors that you're wearing making your skin, like they can make you look more sallow, more awake, under eye circles diminish and everything. So yes, so literally in before and after selfies for product showing, everything that you can make the same, make the same. Fantastic. When it comes to, okay, Nicole, that just means you're outstandingly gorgeous. So you'd be just very proud of yourself that somebody asked you if you had a filter on. When it comes to the angle for selfies, if you're doing like a before and after, like I said, straight in front of you, even if it shows off your double chin a little bit more or something, if you don't like your double chin and you're not showing the effects of something on your double chin, stick your head out like a turtle. You won't be able to tell straight on that you're doing that. All it's going to look like is that this is diminished. So, don't suck it in. Stick your neck out a little bit, and this will look slimmer, and nobody's ever going to be able to tell unless you take a picture from the side with you doing the turtle thing. Don't do that. Whenever it comes to the angle for a selfie, because I am feeling fine that day and feeling like all about myself, I always angle down. So here's my phone. I take a picture like this, which seems like excessive. I don't know. Can you guys see this? I'm not looking at myself so that I don't mess up. But you hold it up here, it feels like really high. So this is like what, a foot, like kind of at an angle, like a 45-degree angle at my head. But what it's going to do is everything is going to be slimmed that way, because you don't have to do the turtle thing. You're looking up and your neck is slimmed, and usually it kind of shows off your outfit a little bit. And so, yeah, like this, for any kind of picture that I'm taking because I feel good about myself, that makes me feel even better. And it really shows off your eyes because they're at the forefront of the picture. And it's just a great angle for anybody. For the love of Pete, do not be like a teenager and take a selfie from down here. I don't know why they all do that. Maybe it's because they're all so tiny and cute that it's an okay angle. But my daughter does it. It drives me crazy. If we're ever taking a selfie together, I'm like, please move that sucker up for me, because mama's double chin does not look great from down here. So don't take a selfie like that. Take a selfie from up here, unless you're 14. Yes, always take pictures from above. I don't know why my kid does that. It's almost like she's doing it on purpose sometimes. Whenever you're doing a selfie, like show something off, like a product, I've got all my Align over here, then I like to take them in multiple different ways. So again, this is a great time to have a tripod for your camera so that you don't have to worry about trying to hold it all the time. And you can even get the fancy kinds of ones that, you can like make really tall, or those ones that kind of have the legs like remember those, like, what are they called? Like the snake light thing, that you can like wrap around. It had a really catchy infomercial for those. Or I guess it was just commercial, but we don't really have normal commercials anymore. But when you can like attach it to something up above. And so you can get that good angle. But whenever I take a selfie with a product, I take it in multiple ways. So I always take one right next to my face, and you kind of want to pull the product back and put it right in line with your face. So wherever the focal point is in your picture, everything will be the same. So if I have the product like in line with my face, then this is in focus and this is in focus too. So I'll take a picture like this, you know, showing off my beautiful body better. And I always really love to take selfies of products, and this can be any product, anything that you have or want to show off to people. I always do one with me holding it out really close to the camera, so that this is completely in focus and then I'm just kind of a blur. But it just kind of, again, puts all the focus of the image on one thing, but still shows you in the picture, because, right, every time you take a more personal picture, it means more, because then you're actually holding the product, you're actually loving the product, and here it is, you know, so right in their faces, nobody can ignore that. And it's cute and good. Don't forget to, it smells so good. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one of these. My daughter tried to steal it the instant she saw it and smelled it. Don't forget to kind of take the lid off and show the product too, if you can. Like, this is so beautiful, and it's the water scent, and it looks like, you know, a beautiful ocean seawater. So show that too. So you can kind of just hold that up as well. When you're doing selfies, take a bajillion, not that many, take quite a few so that you can pick the ones that you like the best. But if you're a seller of anything, have yourself in the pictures, because people love you and they want to see you, and don't be afraid to be there in the pictures with whatever you're trying to sell. And when they're beautiful and they look like this, it's a whole lot easier because you want to be in the pictures with them, right? It's like having a really hot spouse or partner. You're like, oh, look what I have. I'm so lucky. But you can also take these and make them part of your summertime moment kinds of pictures, like this sucker by the pool, super cute, super pretty. This sucker on a sunburn, not like we've had to use that, because we all definitely wear a sunscreen and never get sunburned. It makes a difference for people to see you using these in your daily life, because you love them, right? And that could be for anything. Again, anything that somebody sells is something that they use. So put it in your moments and be able to sell it that way. So let's move on to talking about products. Again, when you have something as beautiful as this, it is really easy to take a beautiful picture of it. I absolutely love what Jessie, Shanae, and Maria have done with Align, because the classy look of them, the clean look of them, it's just fantastic and perfect. Michelle, no, definitely not a filter. Portrait mode just kind of blurs your background. So it's not changing what's in the focal point in focus. It's just kind of blurring everything else to make whatever's in focus, like your face or your subject, more important. That's definitely not a filter. It doesn't change anything about the focus. The adjusting brightness, no, still not a filter. That's just brightness. That can be with more or less sun, and you definitely wouldn't say that's a filter, right? So don't feel bad about those, because they're not really changing anything, as long as, you know, like the before and afters, like if you have done your best to get everything the same, then you know, what you can do, and what I used to do whenever I did a before and after picture, is that instead of looking at my face in the before and after, I'd look at the background, and I'd see, like I said, I would stand in front of my closet door. My closet is white in my bathroom. And so I would be able to tell, like, okay, the white on the closet door, is it the same brightness? Is it the same tone? So is it more yellow or more magenta or more blue or more red? And those are all things that you can adjust as well. So I would make sure that the background matched on the two pictures. And then if everything else was the same, like the time of day and expression and all that, then I would know that it's got to be a pretty dang accurate before and after representation, because everything else matches. And so whatever changes I saw in my skin would be actual changes. Sorry. A car drove by my house, you guys. So my dogs have to make sure that the people in the neighborhood know that they are not allowed around here. Yeah, no, Michelle, I definitely wouldn't say any of that is considered a filter. It's just you doing the best you can at being a wonderful photographer, really. Awesome. Yes, what Shanae had to say is hugely important. The images that I take for Align are really, really good if you don't have a product yet, or if you want like just like a very like clean, basic, simple. Now he's sitting by me and scratching. If you want a clean, very basic and simple kind of image, like to add some kind of like wording onto or something, those are so great. But showing yourself in a picture with the product, hands down, 100% completely better. And it doesn't even matter, like, is it like a super good? Is it exposed perfectly? Is everything about it wonderful? It doesn't even matter that much. If they can see the product and they can see you and they can see how much you're loving it, that's what really matters. So whenever you are taking pictures of your products, you can do a whole setup if you want to. You know, I really don't think that any of the ladies who are our Align leaders will mind if you do like a little, you know, I know that they wouldn't mind if you did like a little like product setup and took like product photography and all that good stuff. The most important things about doing that are that you want to aim for the brightest part of the day if you're taking the pictures inside, so that you have good light streaming in through the windows. I always open my blinds. I take the product photography in my kitchen, on my kitchen table, actually. I open the blinds from this huge window that we have to let all the light in as possible. And if you're doing this anywhere, you just want it to be clean and not fussy, not a bunch of stuff in the way, because it takes the focus away from the product. I do use, I could have brought them over here, but I didn't. I do use like a background and a bottom placement of these kind of like tile things, so that we get, you know, the marble look, very clean, very classy. Don't focus so much on that. As long as the place that you have the picture is clean of other distractions, then use it. So on your tub or in your shower, you know, if you have the face wash on the little shelf in your shower and the water droplets are there from your last shower, it looks really good that way. That's showing it in your personal home, but still clean, simple. And as long as you can get some light in there, awesome, do that. Options, if you don't have a spot like that you want to take pictures, you can get foam board, you know, like foam board, like science project foam board, and you can use that as a bottom and a back. And you can get these little plastic L brackets on Amazon. I meant to look up the link for that so I could give it to Shanae. But just like these little like plastic L brackets, and you stick them, the foam board into the L bracket, and trying to see if I have mine sitting somewhere around here, because I have ones that are similar for the the background setup I have. Thank you, Shanae. But you stick the foam board in and it holds it in place, and it holds it up for the back and flat for the bottom. And so you could just do white foam board. You could even get that foam board and you can cover it like in pretty contact paper. And they have contact paper that looks like marble, of all things, or any kind of, you know, beautiful background, and make your own kind of a product photography spot. And it'll work really great, right? You don't need it to be exactly perfect, but it'll look like a background and the foreground at the bottom, and you can take your product photography there. So there's lots of options of what you can do, but it's mostly just about getting like a clean surface so that the focus of the image is going to be on the product that you're shooting. Now, if you've looked through the Align pictures, I always do just the product. And then I do shots with little plants in the background. And the plants are because greenery is fantastic in images. If you think about like any kind of picture you've seen with a plant in it, there's just something that is perfect about greenery. It brings life to a shot. It brings a burst of color without it being like overwhelming. And flowers are awesome, but I just love very clean, simple greenery. So I think I have a jade plant in there that I use, and then something else kind of succulenty. Scrapbook paper is a great idea, and I totally agree. Anything that just kind of gives you a beautiful look without being too fussy is awesome. So throwing a little greenery in there, nothing directly in the same line of sight as the product, but kind of off to the side just to add a little visual interest is really fantastic for product photography. If you don't want to do this setup, that's totally fine. Just be intentional about what you have in the background. Like you don't want to take this picture of a product and have like your dirty dishes back there, or even just, you know, a whole giant room with a bunch of things going on, because that just distracts people. They get kind of distracted. When I'm thinking of like my ADD here, whenever they're looking at the image and they see all these other things around it, you just want them to really focus on this. And that's another reason why that whole portrait mode is really good, actually, if you have that on your phone, because it blurs everything in the background. So everything is kind of softened, and then you're just looking at this, and it keeps the focus on the product. Another thing that you can do, and you can do this if you do a whole setup, or if you're just taking pictures in your bathroom or your kitchen or wherever you may be, is use one of those white foam boards to bounce the light. So if I am taking a picture of something and the light is coming in from this angle, what I do is I put my foam board right here to bounce the light coming in from the window onto this side of the product, so that this side is lit up as well. It won't be as bright as where the sun is coming in, but what it's going to do is it's just going to give a little illumination to this side, so you don't have any harsh shadows. You can face a product directly towards the light source. That's totally fine. It's kind of preference. So I really love directional lighting. And so that's why whenever I have the product set up and I'm taking the actual product photography, I have my lighting coming in at this angle, about a 45-degree angle from the front of my product. And the light comes in here and hits and fully illuminates this side. And then my foam board that is standing on my table in the kitchen bounces that light onto this. A white foam board, no colors, because if you do that, it's going to bounce that color onto your product and give it a weird color. Alternately, if you wanted to diminish the lights bouncing, you can get a black foam board. So if you really want to do some like really artistic kind of image shots, then you can do a black foam board, and it'll actually make this side of your product darker and more shadowed. Hey, you know, you do you, boo. I love bright, airy, very clean images, and so that's why I do a whiteboard, and also because we want people to be able to see all the things that are on this beautiful product. So light comes in this way, hits the product as it's sitting on my setup. The white foam board is over here, and it just bounces the light back this way. And so everything is fully lit and pretty and clean. Foam board is so good, and it's cheap, right? Like it's not like you're spending a ton of money. And you don't even have to get the little L brackets if you want to do like the background. You could do like you could do a foam board for the back. I don't know why I didn't get anything ready to show you guys, but you could do, here my phone, this is the foam board for the background. You could do the foam board for the back and just have it like on your table and have the wooden as the bottom of the image. Awesome, right? Who doesn't love like, you know, a beautiful clean background, a wooden bottom, and then just put something behind the foam board to hold it up, like your giant Stanley. And, you know, hold up your foam board and you take a picture. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, just take the picture. But there are tons of things and different ways that you can do it and make it work best for you. But when it comes to the products, don't be afraid to just do what fits you the most. So like something next to the pool, if it's body butter, yeah, like your giant Stanley. My daughter talked me into buying this Stanley. And then look, just because we're all here and we're all chatting, I have a mini Stanley on top of my giant Stanley for my straw cover, because it was just way too cute to not have that. So if you have a mama Stanley and a baby Stanley, you can use that to hold up your foam board for your background too. But take the products and put them places that are specific to you. So in your bathroom, next to your pool, on the patio, in the flippin' flower bed, I mean, wherever you can, that makes it personal, makes it individual, makes it about you, do that. And it can be the beautiful Align products. It can be anything else, even if you just have something that you want to show off. If you put it with something that is personal to you, then that image becomes really personal. And people like to see that because people like you and they want to see you in the pictures and your stuff, honestly. So changing it up and making it really individual and unique is what will make your images stand out the most whenever you're comparing them to someone else's. And using them. Duh. So if you have a product like this, like show you using it, you get a little swipe of the body butter and like you've got it on your arm, and it's so pretty and blue. And then you can take that picture of you with it on, and that's good too. And that's another reason to get the now I'm gonna have to just lather my entire body in this. It's another reason to get like the tripod so that you can hold or you can have the pictures without you having to hold them phone at the same time. So I think that was enough. I think I talked about everything I wanted to. I could talk about this for hours. I'm really sorry. I did not intend to take 45 minutes to do it. But I think I answered all the questions I saw. But of course, if anybody has questions or you watch this later or whatever it may be, feel free to like ask them. I am in this group and I have been since the very beginning. And so, tag me and I can ask the question or answer the questions that you asked. I will get the link to those little L brackets and show you guys what I'm talking about. I think I even have a link to like some pretty contact paper on Amazon if you're an Amazon shopper, but I mean, who isn't? So that you can see everything that I'm talking about and you can make your own little setup. It's super, super cheap to do, super easy to do, and maybe it'll make you feel a little bit more confident in it as well. Shanae did tell me that you guys have a a form you can fill out and you get a discount on a purchase. So I'm going to let her remind you about that and wrap everything up. But thanks so much for joining me and watching. And I'm so glad we got to talk about this together.
I truly did not turn on my video to boot Beth off. I just also know that I'll be like squirrel and she'll be like, is anyone going to help me off of Cultivate? So I learned so much and I hope you guys did too. And I'm definitely going to be using the turtle because someone told me once, like, go ahead and just like really push your tongue to the roof of your mouth hard. And it just like makes me look like a wrestler. Like I look like I have like this really giant, strong neck and I'm like tiny. So it's weird. So I will be using the turtle and many, many other tips. I did drop the link for anyone who has attended Cultivate. If you fill that out, you will be receiving a $15 off $75 purchase code. So go ahead and fill out that link. I will also put it in the description of this video. I think I'm also just going to drop another little image in here for everyone to share their favorite photography accessories so that we can kind of all look at that and learn from that. And I'm sure Beth will have more than one link for us. So Beth, thank you again so much for joining us. And to the Align community, thank you everyone who jumped on. This is truly one of my favorite things that we have started at Align. I absolutely love watching everyone ask questions and all the comments like, great idea. Thank you so much. Like that truly is the culture we're building here. And I love taking part in that in a community event like this. So thank you everyone for jumping on and we will see you, if not sooner, next Cultivate.